Good afternoon, class. My name is Sergeant Champion. I will be the instructor for today's course. The risk assessment is low. It is our responsibility as all soldiers and all DoD civilians to conserve and preserve our environment. All information that we will be learning today is unclassified. Everything that we learn will be in regards to ADP 6-22. Today we'll be learning about levels of leadership. Before we talk about the levels of leadership, we will start by defining leadership. So by definition, leadership is being able to influence by providing purpose, motivation, and direction to accomplish the mission and improving the organization. So when you're talking about a leader, you have your key competencies, which are to lead, achieve, and develop. The leader attributes are character, presence, and intellectual capacity. So have those in your mind when I start talking about these levels of leadership, because these will carry on throughout all the levels. So when you're talking, levels of leadership are extremely important in the Army because the Army is built on subordinate leadership. So there's going to be a level to pretty much everything we do throughout our Army career. So in order for us to maintain our Army at the lowest level and the highest level for the shortest amount of time to a very long period of time, we need to have these levels of leadership so that we can carry on. So the first level is direct leadership. So when we're talking direct leadership, we're going to be talking about your company level aspects. So whether you're infantry and you have a company, or you're artillery and you have a battery, those will be your direct leaders. So direct leadership is a face-to-face type leadership. It's going to be your short term. So from the time you receive a mission to the time that you act out on that mission is very short. So usually at a company level, you have about a month or 2 months to 3 months planned already, and that's how you go out and operate. At this level, it's very important because this is where you start your Army career. So from the beginning, you're instilling discipline and you're learning the basics of your job so that you can carry that on at each level. So this level is extremely simple, but it's also pretty hard because you're dealing with people. What's simple about it is that you don't really have too many intricacies. So everything's short term, so you don't have to deal with that many different scenarios going on. So an example of direct leadership would be a team leader giving out a task for his soldiers to do, such as sharp training. That leader teaches that soldier sharp training. That is direct correlation. He gets a task and gives it to his leaders, or gives it to his subordinates, and he sees his subordinates and is able to develop and train them from a face-to-face environment. The next level of leadership is going to be organizational leadership. So when we're talking organizational leadership, we're talking about your battalion level assets. So we're talking your BC, your Ops Sergeant Major, your Command Sergeant Major, and your battalion XO. This is a more different type of leadership. So this type of leadership is you're standoffish. So you don't really necessarily see the people that perform these tasks. Now there are situations where you do, but for the most part, your job is to just support your subordinates. So at a battalion level, your job is to support each company and what they're doing. So usually what happens is a battalion commander doesn't necessarily tell the company commander this is how he wants all these things to be done. What he does is he gives a medal. So that's an organizational type tool. A medal is mission essential task list. So what happens is he has a standard of things that he wants done, and it's up to the commanders using the battalion commander's intent to come up with that plan of what to do. So as a organizational level, you don't necessarily see your subordinates do the actions. You just plan for them to do it, and you support them in whatever they need. The third and final one, which is extremely important, can be pretty complex, is your strategic leadership. So these are going to be your divisions, your corps, your commands, even the Pentagon and Congress. So these are your more political, these are your very long-term type of leadership. Usually you don't really see what you plan coming to fruition. For example, Sharp. Sharp has been going on for about 11 years, but has been in the books and planned for about 20. So these are people that have had multitudes of experience, and they understand how everything works in the levels below. So all the competencies stay the same, but the way they're implemented is different. So at a strategic level, you're leading these organizations. So you're leading these groups of people that are from thousands to hundreds of thousands to even 1 million soldiers. You're leading these people, and you're not telling them their everyday tasks, but you're planning years or 2 years or even 3 years in advance. So these are the people that plan, who is going to go on this next deployment. These are the people that plan the budget for each battalion or brigade. So they tend to be more political. These are your people. These are your very high-ranking, very high-experienced people. So the difference in this is that you don't see what you plan come to fruition. These people will always, they come up with things daily. So they come up with things such as Sharp, EO. Those are things that are done at a strategic level. When right now we probably have every year your commander comes out, your force column commander or your command will come out with what he sees as the vision for your command or your force column in the next 5 years. So the strategic level is just very broad stroke. So to conclude this, we're going to be we talked about what exactly is leadership. So leadership, is the ability to convince people to have a mission and to enact on that mission. So that's exactly what leadership is. Direct leadership, which is the first level leadership, is going to be your face-to-face leadership, your everyday type of leadership. Your organizational leadership is going to be your BCs, your sergeant majors, who sometimes they see you, but mostly they're just kind of coming up with plans in the background for the future. Your strategic, these are going to be your people that you will never see. It's a rarity, you might see them, and their job is to come up with the vision. Their job is to come up with, to build an environment for soldiers for years to come. But what's similar in all these different facets of leadership is that they all lead, achieve, and develop. That's the most important thing. While they all change and you become more mature as you go, you never want to forget that you will always be leading, achieving, and developing. Do I have any questions?
What level of leadership is a battalion commander?
So a battalion commander will be at organizational leaders. They're going to be that person that plans things, that comes up with visions that really help things, and they plan for about a year to a year and a half to come. Any other questions?
What do you think is the most important level of leadership?
The most important level of leadership, I would say, is they're all important. Without each level of leadership, they kind of seem to crumble. So I try to think of levels of leadership like a hotel building. If you were to take out the first floor, the whole building would crumble. And if you were to just knock out the middle floor, the whole building would crumble. So it's very important that you see that these aren't necessarily more or less important. They're just building blocks on each other, and they can't function without each facet. Is there any more questions? Okay, well, that concludes my lesson for today. Catherine.